swim over here because of what you just said. If someone's coming in, they're looking for an item specifically, and that's what really kind of drives the sales. And also, if it's somewhat of a seasonal business, and I would imagine swim is seasonal for you. I mean,
it's year round, but it has peaks. It's year round.
Both of those means that you can put it in less desirable real estate, and it'll still work for you. So, I would think that this would be good for that. I do think that putting your bra department here next to your restroom is a really good idea. The problem is visually it's really far away from shoes. You can't even see it.
Yeah. You could also put it maybe in the corner.
Like right here?
Anywhere really there. I was
like in front of the TV.
There, it's kind of discreet. It's a long way.
Well, it's a long way to walk to the dressing room.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Let's come back to that. But I think for swim back here, that makes a lot of sense to me. The one thing I have about women's being over there is that it's a smaller tract of land than this over here. There's more space here, and so I don't think this can't be just men's. There's not enough product to make it just men's.
Well, we could make that whole wall women's, if that's.
Yeah,
I mean, we can move wets, whatever we've got, that all the injury
and
stuff.
they could move all the CP, the socks and things.
It has been women's in the past. We've actually switched several times.
How many times is several times?
We probably have swapped once a year. We'll swap sides. Swap sides.
And any
just to mix things up.
No, but have you seen results? Have results shifted?
We don't look at. I mean, we never thought to look at sales. Or just.
Okay.
They always come in and say, "Wow, you guys changed," and that's the only thing we notice.
Because I think when they walk in, their eyes are going to gravitate towards the money wall, right? They
still do that even with this counter.
They still come this way. Yeah, they're going to see that better. I mean, when I walked in the first time, I was a brand new customer, right? I saw the shoes, and this was the thing I saw, and my first thought was, we don't want to put Speedo bags there because I know how many you sell. I don't know exactly, but I know there's other things you sell more of. So I'm leaning towards this being women's.
Okay.
Because you could put the women's pants up there.
Oh yeah,
nice.
easily.
Oh, yeah,
The vaulted ceilings are beautiful, for that. So you don't hurt any selling space at all. You just showcase the women's up top there. And then you have 3 rounders. 1, 2,
2 that I know of, yeah. You don't like those?
No, I think the one area that you might be able to get away with it is kind of for your swim grab bag, merchandising by size, with size rings. And so my thought would be that you take those rounders and you put them back here. And then these 4 ways here, you can pull the tubes out all together and change these to straights if you want to, right?
Yeah.
Do you guys actually have Patagonia's line?
We kind of tried it.
It's not doing well.
No.
Why not, do you think?
I think it's a couple things. One is it really hasn't been that cold, so we have like some coats and stuff, and then it's not why people come in.
Yeah, and it's got the eco-friendly story, which Springfield is more traditional, very price sensitive. Columbia is more the younger, more eco-friendly. This is very conservative, very traditional.
I saw a lot of churches driving through here.
Oh my gosh, it's the buckle of the Bible Belt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They all had different names too. It's like each one was different denomination.
Yeah.
So I'm Parker.
Hi, I'm Tara.
Hello, Tara. Nice to meet you. Yeah. So I couldn't find a vision, so I actually came down from 44th, so went all the way down. But that was good. I went from a not so great part of town through the university into the hospital district. It was good. I kind of got to get a feel of the Springfield progression. It was nice. So okay. So we've kind of talked a little bit about some basic merchandising things. Now let's talk about accessories for a moment. So one thing that I notice is that there are a lot of opportunities for accessories to be in not a single location. So for example, if you've got men's long sleeve over there, and or if, some breath thermal pants, we'll throw a pair of breath thermal gloves and a breath thermal hat next to it on a small little peg. And putting these in 2 different locations is perfectly acceptable.
Okay.
And it also gives the perception of you having more merchandise without you actually having more merchandise. So, let's see who this is.
So you would have kind of a central place, kind of like this, but then you'd also merchandise it back to kind of tell that story. Hey, you're getting the shirt. Why don't you get the hat and gloves too?
It's about reminding them about what the possibilities are.
Which you guys do in Columbia.
We do a little,
yeah,
we do a little bit better because Jen's pretty good at that.
I get the function of this completely. The fact is that it's a destination for accessories. It's right near the cash wrap, so it has impulse as well. It's something you can bring up to them at checkout that maybe they haven't thought of yet. Oh, you checked out our gloves, blah blah blah. We've got it's getting cold out there. So maybe just because it's grid, it's just not that pretty,
Yeah, it's not pretty.
And this particular fixture, this treadmill is always here.
Yeah.
Right? And because of the pony wall, it's pretty much always going to be here.
Well, that's what we put the pony wall there for, so people wouldn't be running into the computer and the camera and blah blah blah.
Yep.
And we could turn the treadmill sideways.
And if we wanted to we put the treadmill there versus, if we wanted to take up wall space, this could theoretically go someplace else, but it would need, in the past we've always used a wall to protect it. Most people have it butted up to a wall somehow. So it could move. Take a little bit of work, but it's not impossible, right?
It could potentially go on that back wall. That's what.
Back there?
Yeah, Naperville did that, and they said they put the back wall so women wouldn't feel like people are watching them.
It was a room. At one point, Naperville, it was like a separate room in the back, and I remember when Chris was talking about it, I was like, "Are you sure?" And he's like, "Yeah, actually, it worked out great. There's kind of pluses and minuses. Part of me says, put the treadmill right there."
Yeah.
That's what we're doing. That's what we're doing in Kansas City. It's right in the front, short, itty bitty wall, but the glass is right there, so people.
And so because it's a conversation piece, but the downside is that there are some people that are not want to get on a treadmill especially if you're in a high traffic location. So it's not like there's not like a single right answer. But I brought that up only because would there be a way for you to extend the sheetrock in this wall and maybe make the accessories a bit more appealing visually by just kind of extending the sheetrock out, stopping about here, and using these 8 feet to merchandise as instead of it being grid.
So would you? I was going to ask you that. Lost my train of thought. I'll think of it just a second.
You're like me, I do that all the time.
I don't.
I know.
No, you don't.
So in Kansas City, we're looking for fixtures right now. So would it be better to go like Naperville did with the mannequins and the shelves, or would it be better to go with a rack concept?
Like Lulu has the box shelves built in where you can,
You have the garments and stuff that are folded in separate racks. Do both.
Well, I think so cubbies are nice, but they are high maintenance because if I'm going you're doing a lot of folding. And the other thing we have to remember is that we're not dealing with cotton merchandise, and
It's not going to fold very
there's
well.
some really
Might sag.
tops don't fold well. They just don't. Bottoms fold fine, but shorts don't fold at all. You have to lay them flat. So I would say that for the most part, a rack system probably is more common than doing I like cubby systems for bras, only because you lay them flat. You don't really have to see the bra. You just have to make sure they have their size. I like it for tights, okay, but for everything else, I think it puts a lot of pressure on the staff. We don't have Gap girls, right, going around just folding all of our stuff.
Do we have too many racks in here that we could donate a couple to Kansas City? Is it too
think,
tight?
Yeah, I think that what we have to figure out is, based on your sales, what should your capacity be? Okay, and we don't know that quite yet. The dashboard's going to answer that for us. But I mean, the bottom line is, if you've got, we should know what your capacity is, and it's based on what your sales plan is, and we don't want to fill up to the size of our closet just because we have the space. So,
which I kind of feel like we
my
have.
guess is that we can open this up a little bit, and that'll help shopping. But I don't know for sure.
He also suggested getting rid of like all the waterfalls and going to straight.
Yep, I read that in his thing.
So don't send those to me.
You're totally getting those. And we could probably give Kansas City one of the round racks because you could use it for your suits.
Yep.
Where'd you buy these, Sammy?
I think that was Opto fixtures.
Is that Opto?
Oh yeah, that's why they look familiar. That's what Chris has.
I like them.
They have the
think they're
best.
I like them
nice,
too.
and they're not that expensive.
They're
And
not?
their
No.
wall mounted are really nice looking too. You don't have to use grid.
Because I like this, and I'm surprised. The thing I don't like, Opto is generally high priced.
Yeah.
So if you got them a pretty good deal,
I pretty much guarantee that if I bought them, they were not really
well, that's
pretty low cost when we go in at least. And
good.
then,
Yeah.
So I mean, it might have been a little bit more. I mean, these are not
Those
expensive.
are $40.
But this wasn't. I don't know. I'm gonna guess it was $200.
Okay.
Yeah. Not
I
bad.
like it. I like it.
So
And
why?
Russ, when you're looking, you might
Why don't
look.
you use waterfall?
They have. You see the
Because
ones
it's
where you don't
hard
use grid.
to-
These like just
hard
attached to
to
the wall.
put many
There's a
things
rack
on them.
there. That
that
might
looks
be the way to
horrible.
go there.
That's true.
So,
So
we
you gotta
put
have,
the
you can only
shelves
do
on top,
one
and then
per
you've got these
ball,
below.
and they
Right.
all have to do the same thing, or else it looks real
I do
bad
too.
too. So it has to be
The thing
exact
to
same
remember
top.
is that when you're dealing with
The other you can fit a whole lot
merchandise,
more on it,
the-
twice as much on
The
it.
specialty
That's true.
tendency is to face everything out, right? We want to show the garment, and that makes sense. But what it does, it takes up a lot of space.
Yeah.
And if I were to take, this moving comfort top, which I think is, no, it's not. But just like I took this moving comfort top, and I had this on a mannequin, then I can put this in a
Shove all
closet
together,
rack.
yeah.
No problem, because
Yeah.
that's telling the story, that's doing the talking, so it's not that important for it to be faced out. So what I kind of advocate in general is use forms to tell the story, and then you can closet things, and what you'll find is she gets it, and you're
Looks a lot better, too.
you're crunching your space together. Because I can put 24 units where you would normally put 6, just because because this, it's basically a garment an inch. That's the way to think. So this is 12 inches. I can fit 12 garments on here. You have 8 garments on here. We could definitely put a lot more. You could put 18 if it was showed up here. And so as we think about our buy for fall, we'll keep coming back to that. What are the big stories that you want to tell? And I think, I'd rather you have something like this in maybe 2 colors than 2 different half zips in 1 color. Because then she goes, oh, this is this must be really good. We make sense?
Yep.
Because I think right now you have to. There's the TJ Maxx shopping philosophy, and then there's kind of the Lululemon shopping philosophy. TJ Maxx is, I'm going to go to this rounder and I'm going to find that needle in the haystack, and I'm going to pull it out, and I'm going to tell all my girlfriends, oh my gosh, I got this for $20. What a great score, and you feel good about it. But that's not who you are.
That is definitely.
No, you are.
Not what we want to be.
Because they don't come in here looking.
You don't want 'em.
They don't come in here looking for the great deal. That just goes against everything.
Right.
They come in here and they say, okay, they know more than I do about this. So what are they about to tell me? Well, this is important. This is important. The couch, the 3.1 is important. Our footwear is important. Getting fit is important. And this is how you do it. So you can be, the more direct, the more concise you are with that, the more effective you're going to be, and the more the customer is going to feel safe here.
Yeah. And I guess it's just like in shoes. We say don't bring out 8 pairs
No.
because they're not going to be able to make a decision. But we are giving them so many options on a pair. Maybe it's hard to make a decision too, or
That's right.
match, or whatever.
And it can evolve from there, but that's where we have to start. We have to start with what are the key stories that we tell. And then as it begins to develop, we can take more chances, we can do all sorts of really cool stuff, but that's where to start.
Okay.
Do you think we need to repaint? We're changing our name, new logo.
Color.
I mean, the new logo is different colors. This is our original logo color.
And the new one's red and black.
Yep. I really like the look of the Lululemon stores. Like they put, you know, several different colors, and when you look at it, it's kind of
Like on the different walls?
yeah. You like look. I have a picture, but it's like there's a they're all kind of earthy tones. There's like an orangish, and then on the next wall over there was a bluish, and then there was a.
Their colors are a little bit dark, actually, and most
It
of
was
their
a little
floors are dark stained concrete. I love your floor. My I don't think you need to paint.
Okay.
Also, I think these colors are warm. They're and red and black are a little more stark.
Mm-hmm.
So
We can always get the store kind of re-merchandised and then repaint next year.
paint's cheap, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
sure,
you can-
sure. What about lifestyle-looking pictures up high? I saw that in one of your things. You put your forums up high, and you put lifestyle, active are basically our demographic.
I like that, and what I also like is that, like, I don't know if these are Ultramax events, like all these starting block pictures,
Yeah.
but if they are, then I like them even more, because what I like is there's one store that does a really good job of this. Is they go to all the races and they take pictures and they kind of have this. It's kind of like the family, right? Here are our friends. This is our family, and it got a little crazy. They kind of had them all over the wall. It looked like one of those old Italian restaurants where you get the. But they consolidated, but I think it's really good. It's really good. So yes, Eric, I think the lifestyle shot, and that's what the space is for.
How high would you put the forms on?
Well, anything over 8 feet, you can't reach. So when you think about starting, where are you going to start your? You're going to start at about 6 feet here. So anything higher, so start at like at 7. So I would think, see where the that top. I would say somewhere between those two racks there, you kind of go all the way across the top. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6 down from the top slat.
Yeah. Got it.
And are they just sitting on a shelf? How are they staying up there?
The easiest way is you buy 2 brackets and you get some particle board and you plop the particle board on top of it and you just build yourself a shelf.
Okay.
And so you're just buying, you go to IKEA and get these little things of wood. And you finish it. If you want to get maple finish, maybe it looks a little classier because it matches your slat wall. You could even go darker. That would look good too. So.
Okay.
So I look around and I see, some real good starting block branding. But then I also see these shots of, I see your Newton, your Adidas, your Brooks. So how important do you think it is for you to have all of the branded collateral in the store?
Not.
I think it would look better if it was a consistent message or style. Maybe this is pictures, but then maybe as you're going out, it's events or something. This is to mishmashy. I don't know. I don't think it's that important about the brands to you.
Well, I think that, especially because you're going through a rebranding process right now, for you, it's a great time for you to kind of cut the locker room feel back here. I love the brands. They're great. They're really important. They're my friends. But the brand that you should be most concerned about is Ultramax Events, and that's what the store should represent, because that's who you want the customer to trust.
Right.
Especially considering our biggest competitor is online, right? If they are associating their purchase more with a brand, that really doesn't do you a lot of good. So my thought would be that the more you can take that stuff down, especially right now, the timing seems good for you to do that. And that's not providing, no one sees that until they walk out the door. That's not providing you any value at all. So, and to me, it's inconsistent. This to me, that wall there. I mean, besides the comments they made for me, that's a good looking wall. Their colors are good. The branding is good. I'd like to put a starting block instead of Speedo there. Starting block multi-sport or something like that. Because you can have different stories, right? You can starting block run, starting block multi-sport, starting block whatever, elite. I don't know what you want to call it, but I think there's.
One thing that concerns me is we changed our name to Ultramax. It's a flip cam. I'm recording everything you're saying. Is that okay?
He's going to post it on YouTube, and then he's going to get it.
And then the gate guys will get mad at me again.
What did they get mad at you for this time?
Oh, I recorded their session, and then for staff training, and then I sent copies to Sean, and they said, hey, he said really nicely, take it down. It's okay.
Okay. We don't want it all up there.
My concern is when people are afraid to go to a running store anyway, especially if they're a beginner, especially for our target demographic, 30 to 50 women. They're afraid to come to a store. We have a scary name now. How can we make this thing as unintimidating as humanly possible?
Because the whole company will be called Ultramax Sports.
Ultramax Sports.
It used to be Ultramax Events on one side, Starting Block on the other side. Now it's all Ultramax Sports.
It made sense to help cross-market these populations who weren't doing each other's business, any good in each other's business, but how do we be very soft and warm?
I think it's tricky because when I think of Ultramax Sports and I try to be as layman as possible, to me it sounds like you're another GNC, you know? Like, and that's not who you are at all. So the branding that effectively is going to be really important. So what was your question?
How do we brand to make less intimidating? But also the coming up to the store. I mean, is it window displays that make that help? Is it?
So you have the person that's getting ready to get to exercise, to start an exercise program, and to get them to feel comfortable to come into the store and not be intimidated.
Ultramax sounds like you're either a super athlete or, like you said.
I agree. Yeah, Ultra Max. It's
two superlatives.
Yeah. So it's intense. It's intense. So yeah, the messaging is gonna be important, really important.
One of the things we are planning to do, now this doesn't answer your question per se as far as the window and coming up to the store, but we are going to run commercials that are advertising like our couch to 3.1 and we haven't really done that before. A lot of commercials that are going to have more of a friendly feel.
That's what I meant. That's good.
So that we do have that. I think they're asking more as far, we don't have them done yet, but as far as like,
I guess the approach when someone walks in, when they're approaching the store.
Is there anything we can do to make that
Would you do
better?
more mannequins with light colored clothing?
Well, I think
Windows?
well the window stories are. The windows are important. And remember that the thing about the difference between a window and like a decompression zone is when the window is a chance for kind of you to tell them about you. And the decompression zone is really for you to tell them about them. So remember how I said, like, there's a 3.1 going on, this is what you could look like, right? Whereas this is more, what are we all about? And so I think that for you to think of ways that you can, again, using forms or mannequins, I think, maybe even, and I'm not a huge fan of these, but maybe even creating some large Ultramax event banners that are kind of, what are the one-way banners where you can see out. Especially in this window, which right now doesn't get a lot of utilization, that kind of tell this, I think of a family of 4 participating in a couch at 3.1 and the kid's in a Bob stroller and he's happy, the other one's eating popsicle, really be really kind of
Hokey.
homey.
Yeah.
That would make a big difference, I think, and maybe using that here in this store for that. You know what I'm talking about in terms of those.
Yep.
Yeah, they kind of have holes in them so you can see
Correct.
through a little bit. Yeah.
Correct.
That's good.
We've had those done for Columbia before, so
You know
that's
where.
the place to
Easy.
go.
So when is the official name change happening?
It's officially pretty much happened. I mean, it's still legally, it's still what they were before. It's just, so officially now we're answering the phone that way.
Okay.
We're kind of doing it as and this is what we thought would be best, a soft name change versus just sticking the sign up new, So now we're changing the name, we're rebranding some of our print materials, so most of them now say both on it. For the next few months, and then come by May, we'd like to have a new sign, new everything is changed over.
Okay.
May or early June.
And what about the front sign?
Yeah, that. In May or June. That's
Because
why it's May or June.
that's the big deal, right? Who they are. That's such a that's
I know.
yeah.
And we've got one just like in Columbia. So yeah, it's going to be expensive. So, but I mean, over the long haul, is that going to be expensive when we save on the branding? No, it's not. So that's why we decided to do it. But I don't, you know, maybe it's better to just go quicker and.
So that will attach to a fuel
Welcome.
thing here. So it's just basically
Oh.
a ditch.
Sorry.
So if you want to add an
Yeah, I think I like the idea of kind of doing a gradual. I think the day that you change the signs over, you should have kind of a big
Party thingy.
Yeah.
because then it's official, right, in the mind of the customer.
Right.
So May, June, that's a good time of year to do it. Summer's starting, kids are getting out of school,
some of them have some
event season is really starting to ramp up.
Right.
That makes sense.
wild print stuff like that.
Now, how many? And we can talk about this a little bit tomorrow as well. But so, how many events do you own? Do the Ultramax events owns?
5 or 6.
No. 12. We own Shamrocks, Max Tracks,
Tri-Zoo.
Tri-Zoo, Go
Topeka.
Girl, Topeka,
Some
Innsbruck,
of those are partially owned, right?
only 10 man. Innsbruck, what do we have in the fall? Mud Run,
Okay. Yeah. Plus 10 or 12. Okay.
KC15K. Now we're starting one. Chrissy Wellington's actually coming to
Wow,
our new store in Kansas City.
that's so cool.
That's really cool.
Big.
Yeah.
That's big time.
So we've got 10, and then we've got our turkey drive. I'd say 11, 12.
So at some point, I'll want to kind of see event, distance, location, time of year, and so just to get a feel of, because I love store properties. I love them. I think they're great, and I always encourage you to do
Big
it
store events.
like that. Yeah, like it's a property. You own it.
Yeah.
You could take any one of those events and you could sell it to somebody.
Yep.
Right. So it's an asset. It's something.
That's why we changed our name.
Yeah.
So every time we serve a customer, there's a race discussion.
Yeah.
There's a training discussion.
Right. And so I think it's especially where this industry is going. The stores that are going to thrive are the ones that are going to have their properties. It takes their business outside of the four walls of their store. So it's something that's really exciting to me for you. But what I'll also be doing is I'll be looking at any other kind of time sucks that you have that aren't focusing on those,
Right.
Because I want you to build those. And I'm not talking about timing and scoring because it's a nice little cash cow and you can time and score races and it just takes a few hours on a Saturday. But I'm talking about the YMCA races that you guys do some stuff for, and all those things, because they can really start to weigh you down, especially if they're the 200-300 person races. But I'm sorry you even brought it up because that's not what we're talking about right now.
Oh, okay.
But just for your information. So I would say, just to kind of wrap up the visual merchandising session, I think I know what the store looks like now. I think that men's, women's, swim, mannequins, building out in that period. The thing is like what we talked about at that workshop. Your store is set up really well to do it, kind of in entirety, because you've got enough wall space. We can definitely you don't have to. We can build off of grid just as easily.
Yeah.
That's no big deal.
Do you mean for putting the mannequins up? Or
Yeah,
are we
just
talking
using that wall to really sell
Yeah.
merchandise. And then things to think about too for accessories is, this is an example. So, to take these 4 things and put them like this, and then down below having just like cubbies or a basket or. That just because you don't need to show them all.
Mm-hmm.
We could tell this whole thing right here. We could tell that about this much space, and then or taking a tin wastebasket and taking your sticks off of here.
Yeah.
And just putting them in a tin wastebasket right down here, and having a stick up with you next to
Fitting.
the footwear section. You know, this library, guaranteed your revenue, your ROI on this is terrible.
It's horrible.
But it's important. It's not. I'm not saying it's not, but you know what you can do is you can use you can get a little bookcase. You put the key
Face out.
here,
Yeah.
and just like Barnes and Noble, right? And then you're putting a
Vertically.
bookshelf down below. You know, you can have one of these, and then the rest of these can go somewhere else. And
You mean in the back?
no, I
Okay.
mean like down,
Around the store?
I remember how I talked about showcase high, sell middle, store low.
Store low,
These are
uh-huh.
all store low things. Mm-hmm. And it's
So you put them in something on the floor, like, yeah.
yeah, and there's a lot of, you know, I don't know if there's an IKEA nearby or if there's a Container Store nearby. Probably in Kansas City they have
Sure.
both. But you know, IKEA is one of the best inexpensive fixture destinations that I can think of. They're great.
Is Pier 1 too, or is that not?
Pier 1's okay if you like wicker, right?
Okay.
But I mean, let's put it this way: stores have bought more at IKEA than Pier 1. But you know, the thing that Pier 1's really good about is more on the design side, because you can find like really cool, like kind of Indian decked out prints in like a garbage can, or you can find like just a cool little lamp that kind of warms up the store. That it's just, but it's or the other thing are like really inexpensive rugs. Well, rugs are a great way for you to take something that's pretty generic, or to create a department. Like all of a sudden you cross, and all of a sudden, oh, I've got this new department. I've got a little throw rug that I could use here, and you can buy those at Lowe's, or Pier 1 has that type of stuff as well. I think we're not quite there yet.
Yeah.
But those are things that, as the store starts to take shape and you start to build these departments out, you can kind of drop these little things in to bring warmth into the store. Which your store's not cold; it's actually pretty warm, and your lighting is good. I don't know if you knew that already, but I love these can lights. I like your spots. I mean, generally your lighting's good. So the bones of the space are solid. Is your heating bill higher in the winter or the summer? AC, HVAC, do you know?
I think it's higher in the summer.
I'm just not used to that because I'm from the West Coast. Everything's. But,
Yeah, the AC is higher.
is that when you use the fans then, mostly?
Yeah.
No, do you use a fancy? Okay. I don't know. I just pay the bill. That's how I know it's more, but I don't know what they do.
Doesn't have the fans don't have too much of an effect because it's just so high. There's just so much air to move, so
But
it's better than not having.
But in the winter, the fans would keep the heat down. That's the only thing. But if your AC's higher in the summer, that's why.